It is if they're running on the sidelines or jumping around out there and flying.
Sam, do you think that's factual or not factual?
I'm going to agree with them, I guess.
So you all three would delete it. All right. And see how easy that is?
Until Joe twists around what you say.
Well, just because you don't, think that women are as good. Anyway, second thing, sports advertising causes harmful effect for young athletes in the portrayal of unrealistic body shapes and sizes. Those expectations. Chris, do you delete that or would you tweak that as fact?
I absolutely would delete that.
Okay.
Sports advertising they're attempting to show you what their products can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the old show on Saturday mornings, The Baseball Bunch? I remember I would get up early on Saturdays to watch that. And Johnny Bench was on there, and they would go through the drills to make you a better player. One particular episode, I remember Fred McGriff was on there working with hitting. And, watching it as a kid, I never thought to myself, I'm going to be like Fred McGriff and be able to hit the ball 400 feet. Mm-hmm. I knew that even as a kid. So definitely delete it.
I'd have to delete it too. It's always good to have something to at least work towards, even if you're going to be out there.
Yeah, I'd delete it too.
3 deletes. 3 deletes. All right. Third topic. Esports are very popular right now and ever evolving, but in no way should they ever be considered a sport. Chris, do you tweet that as fact or do you delete that?
Here's where I'm going to get in trouble. Tweet it.
What?
Esports amount to not much more than having the ability to move your thumbs back and forth.
Oh.
Now, there is a level of talent involved in that. I'm not arguing that. But you don't have to be an athlete to compete. Ironically enough, I was reading an article online. There's a big discussion in the NASCAR community about this right now. Mm-hmm. This year was the inaugural e-racing league, and NASCAR teams actually sponsored, quote, drivers in this. This year's champion was a 19-year-old kid, never worked on a race car, never set up a suspension, has never driven competitively, yet he has the title of NASCAR champion. I mean, he does, and I just don't think that's right. I'm not a fan of it. Just because in Tecmo Bowl I could convert 4th and 35 does not mean I'm Peyton Manning.
So you think there's no thinking, no cognitive development, or there's no...
there absolutely is, but I don't think that makes you an athlete. Albert Einstein had cognitive ability. I cannot imagine him as an athlete.
So scholastic members are not athletes?
As far as a competitive physical standpoint, no.
Interesting. So you're going down the lines of physiology.
Yes.
Of physical and mental.
Yes.
Logan's like, what in the world are we waiting around for?
I would probably end up tweeting it too, just because, like you said, it is 2 different styles. Like, yes, it's very mental in the e-games. It's very mental in other sports as well. You always got to think. But along the physical lines, I just don't think the others can stand up to what it takes.
Sam, your thoughts?
They always say it before I can get to it.
So she says ditto as well. All right.
See, Joe, I'm not in the minority like you think.
Okay.
All
right.
Tecmo Bowl. Do you like that throwback there?
Yeah, it's kind of hurts a lot of us that used to. Anyway, that's
when you play Bo Jackson, you went all the time.
So
there we go.
Fourth topic. Would you tweet this or delete this? An athlete should only take so much in terms of salary. If the true revenue of a team is spent on other players and not kept by ownership. But if the owner's going to keep it, then get what you can get. Tweet that or delete it.
This is short and sweet. Delete it. If the owner's willing to pay, get what they're willing to pay you.
I agree. I don't have any other comments on that.
I call that the Steinbrenner clause.
Oh. Fifth and finally, here we go. I should have asked this when Coach was here. High schools should employ full-time year-round coaching staffs, which can completely focus on a student-athlete's development, instead of having teacher coaches who suffer from burnouts or may not be the best trained as coaches.
Tweet it.
Tweet it.
I have had to cook hot dogs and chili in my classroom before to get ready to open a concession stand before a baseball game. I've had ADs and coaches call me about game cancellations right in the middle of my class, and I've had to take the call to cancel the buses. So I've had to actually put my real job on hold to deal with that. It's hard to wear both hats. Mm-hmm. I do think coaches should be in the classrooms keeping an eye on their student athletes, but being able to focus just on coaching would make teams more productive, I think. Comes down to that problem, though, like we talked about the drug testing. How are you going to pay for it?
How are you going to pay for it? Logan, what's your thoughts?
I'm definitely going to tweet it too. I feel like if coaches were there full time and just focused on the one sport, that would go a lot smoother when it comes regular season time.
All right. I agree too, but if,
it's okay to disagree with us.
No, I do. But if teachers want to, I mean, that's okay too. That's more power to them, I guess. But having a full-time coach would be beneficial to the kids.
I also had to deal with teachers that day trying to sneak in my classroom and eat the hot dogs because the whole hallway smelled like hot dogs and chili.
Well, what you run into, like I said, a lot of times, some of these high schools with smaller numbers of teachers that coach 5 different sports, and I may be a good football coach, but I may not be a good basketball or baseball and be as knowledgeable. And it does a disservice to the kids if I'm not able to help out.
In other school systems that I was in previously, I had to take some coaching positions, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing in there. But there was literally no one else to do it.
Right. And that's what, All right, so that is tweeted or deleted this week. We'll take another break. On the backside of that break, though, we're going to talk a little bit about football here. We'll talk about what happened in Northeast Tennessee, Southwest Virginia. We'll preview the Gate City-John Battle matchup. And we've got some other things coming down the pike. So, again, appreciate you staying with us. Again, you're listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio. With over 100 offices throughout Virginia, you can count on your local Virginia Farm Bureau insurance agents to be there when you need them most. Whether you find yourself in a fender bender, insuring your first home, or with a new addition to the family, our agents are ready to help you through every stage of life. Connect with your local agents, Whitney McConnell, Richard Helms, and David Weddick here in Scott County at 386-7411 or online at vafb.com. Coverage provided by Virginia Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company and their affiliates. Over the last 11 years, Christina Kilgore Wiggs has continued to demonstrate her vast knowledge of the local real estate market and strives to represent each of her clients with the value and respect they deserve. She is a trusted and well-respected real estate professional, and now she has joined a group who shares her vision of putting clients first. She is now with Conservis Real Estate Group and welcomes the opportunity to serve you and your family. Please call her today at 423-360-0092. That's 423-360-0092. Or go to christina.conservisrealestategroup.com for more information.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
And we're back here live from the campus drive-in. We'll try to get things back on track here. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been out. Of course, that's what makes a show. You know, it's a celebration of them, and we want to have good fun with them. We talk a little bit about sports, but it's good to get to know them on a sort of a personal level.
I've never seen Dondre that wound up before.
He was fearful of the questions that was coming his way, but again, but so good to see him back on the field out there. Of course, it really adds so many dimensions to our offense and defense. Again, getting into the football, when you have a Levi Roten, when you have a DeAndre Mack, when Logan is healthy, and when you have Mr. Blanton healthy as well. So,
well, before we went on, I asked Andre how his ankle was, and he said it's pretty good. He doesn't feel like it's 100%, but he said he feels like he's running fast, whether he is or not. So that was a good sign.
This part of the season, if you're 85%, that's really 100. So, all right, let's quickly talk through Northeast Tennessee. What did we see last week from scores?
Well, I've got 4 games I want to mention and what games they were. We'll start off with the Dobyns Bennet Indians taking down Morristown West 42-0. Dobbins-Bennett quarterback Zane Whitson threw for 4 touchdowns and ran for another as the Indians wrapped up a share, at least, of the Region 1 6A football title. This is the 6-time state champions' 4th shutout of the season and gave them their 49th conference championship. Last season, if you recall, Dobbins-Bennett finished a dismal 4-6. I think junior linebacker Nate Whitley said it best. Quote, "We've all been playing hard. After last season, we're out to prove something." This week,
It is.
DB has the big showdown with Science Hill in the state's longest-running rivalry.
That game at J. Fred Johnson,
And it will be packed from what I've heard.
you better go probably in the morning and park.
Start camping out.
Because it's going to be a wild rocket scene. Again, of course, as you mentioned there, the upset of Science Hill came in that game last year as the prohibitive favorite. Dobbins-Bennett beat them. Now, of course, shoes on the other foot. And
The roles, I hadn't even thought about that. The roles really have done a 180.
Oh, yeah, most certainly.
Definitely a good point there.
Again,
Let's hope the outcome's not like last year then.
I will say this. Actually, on the picking panel, it was not unanimous.
Really?
So
there you go. That's why you played on the field.
That's right.
Elizabethton versus Greenville. Holy cow. Elizabethton kicker Jackson Hawley has not missed a kick all season. He still has not missed a kick all season. He nailed a 34-yarder with 7 seconds in the game as the Cyclones knocked off the 2-time defending state champions 24-21. This was a battle of the 1 and 2 ranked teams in the state, and it lived up to its billing. This was Elizabethton's first win over Greenville since 2009, and it was Greenville's first regular season loss since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
This week, Elizabethton hosts Sullivan South, and they better watch out. They have a mental letdown. South could bite them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it'll happen, but the possibility is definitely there. Greenville, they host Granger County. They should have a pretty easy time with that, I think.
Yeah, I would hate to be Granger this week. I mean, after
Mm-hmm.
Green, and of course that game went back and forth. A lot of you all watched it on the was telecast on WCYB. Greenville got down there quite a. They had their opportunities, and of course Elizabethton did as well. And Greenville, I think, feels like they let one go. Let one out.
Well, they made me eat crow because in our pregame show I said I thought Greenville would pull away in the second half, and they made a liar out of me again. Next game I wanted to mention, it also lived up to its hype. Tennessee High versus David Crockett, and I missed this one as well. Throughout the game, neither team ever led this by more than 1 touchdown. Finally, Viking Cole McBrayer had a 1-yard touchdown run with 15 seconds left, and that allowed Tennessee High to escape out of Jonesboro with a 28-21 victory. Tennessee High outrushed Crockett. Get a load of this, 266 yards to 6. They finished with 331 overall yards compared to 243 for Crockett. But after throwing an 89-yard touchdown pass to tie the game at 21, Crockett quarterback Cade Larkins surpassed 10,000 career passing yards. I was really glad to see that for him because in the back of my mind, I've had this dread that first game was going to come back to bite him as far as reaching that milestone for him.
Yeah.
But he was able to get to 10,000 career yards. So congratulations there. This week, Crockett plays at Daniel Boone in the annual Musket Bowl. That's one of those rivalry games. You kind of throw the record out the window for that.
I'd still hate to be Boone this week.
I would too, but I'm just saying there's a chance. And then Tennessee High hosts Cherokee, which that's got the potential to be a good game also.
Yeah, indeed.
And last one I really wanted to mention was Sullivan North and Happy Valley. General Robert Nealon, perhaps you've heard of him, used to say, the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win.
I think that was just a cliche.
Well, this game didn't quite work out that way. North found a way to overcome 3 second-half fumbles and defeated Happy Valley 24-14. This was the Raiders' first home win of the season. North attempted just 3 passes and did not complete a single one.
Yep.
So all their 268 yards of offense came from their ground attack.
Which we mentioned, of course, with our Premier Pharmacy Players of the Week, which we'll get into a little bit more on Friday.
Well, this week, Sullivan North travels to Bluff City to take on the Sullivan East Patriots. So I believe that North's record on the road is going to improve Friday night.
They're 4-0. I'm going to say it's going to be 5-0. So, all right, a couple other games from around Of course, Boone knocked off Cott County 30-13. Granger beat Sullivan Central 38-19. Hampton continues to roll. They beat South Green